Oh, and welcome back to another video on the Wrestle Bay and to another edition of Raw Out of 10. It's a big show today. Obviously, we've got all of the Crown Jewel action coming up. It's kind of a weird time because we're kind of in the middle of waiting for the brands that also got Crown Jewel coming up, but meh. But Raw's actually been better these past few weeks. Let's get straight into it. Drew McIntyre kicked off Raw after being interrupted by Big E. Ian Drew talked about how McIntyre wanted to shot the WWE title. Drew said that at Crown Jewel he would secure the gold once again before the Usos came out to interrupt and gave a warning on behalf of Roman. The Usos then said they were preparing to take down a New Day when they will come down to SmackDown before Big E said that if he could beat Drew he would get a shot at the Tribal Chief. The Usos then attacked Drew and Big E and wiped them out before they were issued a challenge. Big E and McIntyre accepted, and that's going to be our main event for tonight. Will they coexist? Before we got Xavier Woods versus Ricochet and King of the Ring. Woods started off strong and dropped Ricochet on the apron after blocking a springboard move. Back after the break, Woods hit a big vertical suplex and a gutbuster before Ricochet sent him outside the ring. Former US champion drove Woods into the barricade before Woods took Ricochet down and hit the limit breaker from the ropes to pick up the win, surely setting up that dream match between Woods and Kofi. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Yeah, this was a fun little match. Nothing special, but it was fun enough. After a break on Raw, Riddle revealed to Randy Orton that he challenged Omos to a match. Orton was not pleased and told Riddle that he is on his own. Before we got the Hurt Business versus Ali and Mansoor. Ali and Shelton were in the ring as we returned from the commercials. Mansoor came in and turned things around early on and took Shelton out for a suicide dive before Cedric caught him in a Michinoku drive as Shelton kept Mansoor from breaking the pin on the apron while Cedric pinned Ali for the win. After the match, Ali and Mansoor had a falling out. Ali walked out, leaving Mansoor in the ring. And yeah, this was another long-lasting tag team. Yeah, really, what's the point? 5 out of 10. Just been rushed for you so Ali can get a match at Crown Jewel. Sorry, Mansoor can, but whatever. Before we got Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. Shayna started off strong, but Dana managed to turn things around before Shayna took Brooke to the corner and hit a series of knee strikes before Dana managed to get a defense in. Before Baszler got a leg lock in and Dana got out of the hold but took a knee strike before going down for the 3 count, and Shayna Baszler's dominant run continues. I'm enjoying Shayna Baszler's dominant run, so I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Yeah, this wasn't too bad at all. Really enjoyable. Obviously, it's a shame to get Dana Brooke being jobbed out week in, week out. But yeah, I'm happy for it as long as Shayna Baszler continues this streak. Before we got Riddle versus Omos, Riddle got on the mic and started rambling about random things before giving Randy the cue to attack. AJ fired back and told the ref that Riddle wasn't listening. Riddle attacked AJ outside of the ring before Omos dragged him in, hit a huge chokeslam. AJ then stopped him from ending the match and told Omos to punish Riddle. Omos then delivered a roundhouse kick and AJ loved it before Styles gave Omos a signal and he slammed Riddle down and got the pin with 1 foot. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Yeah, this was dominant from Omos. Really good seeing being put over. AJ was about to hit a Styles clash on Riddle before Randy's music hit. AJ prepared for an attack. As Omos stepped out, Randy took the opportunity to hit AJ with an RKO. And yeah, fun little segment for the match to end. Kind of booked nicely between the two of them. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Backstage, Big E and Drew settled their differences and joined forces for tonight's match before Bobby Lashley was out and fired back at Goldberg, saying that he needed to pipe down. Finally, after criticising Goldberg for threatening to end his life, Bobby was claiming that he would end the Hall of Famer's life and said, "You can't kill the Almighty." Yeah, this was a nice little promo from Bobby Lashley. Decent enough from start to finish, didn't go on too long. Yeah, I had no issue with this. Before backstage, Sasha took shots at Bianca, Becky and Charlotte before saying that she was next in line to become SmackDown Women's Champion, and started to screw really before we got Jeff Hardy versus Austin Theory. Hardy took the latest addition to Raw down with an axe handle. Austin then locked in the belt before Reginald rushed the ring with a 24/7 title. He flipped over it before R-Truth was lasting, got in Theory's way. Hardy looked like he was going to take advantage, but missed the Swanton Bomb, and Theory hit him with the tight, held him on the tights to pick up the win. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the most convincing debut for Theory. Obviously, all of that 24/7 title stuff is annoying. But, you know, a win's a win. does WWE really care about Jeff Hardy anymore? I would give it a 5, but I'll be nice and give it a 6. Before we got Jinder Mahal versus Kofi Kingston. Kingston had the upper hand early on with a drop kick out of the corner before getting a splash and a big boot. Mahal was sent outside and Kofi wiped him out before Jinder was in control, but Kofi came back. Mahal then hit a gut buster. Veer and Shanky attacked Woods at ringside, and that distraction allowed Mahal to put in the Khallas to get the win. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. It just made no sense. Jinder Mahal's fine, whatever. But yeah, surely Xavier Woods v Kofi Kingston is the only logical option there. It would have been a fun, really interesting match. But no, they kind of just gone for the lame option. Before we got the weird tag team match, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks against Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Banks and Belair were bickering who started, and they dragged each other by the hair before Becky attacked Belair before a massive brawl broke out before the bell even rung. Belair and Banks then got control of their opponents, but Charlotte took out Banks and wiped out Becky. The Queen then went out top, but Becky dragged her down before Belair lifted and dropped Banks on the top rope. A bunch of officials came down to stop the brawl before Pearce and Deville arrived and ordered them to restart the match. The match finally started, and Becky tagged herself in, and Sasha went for a double team, but the man took down her Crown Jewel opponents. Flair sneaked in a tag while Becky was in trouble, and they were bickering as Banks hit a backstabber. Belair then came back in the ring and sent Banks into the turnbuckle before the ref called it off for no apparent reason. After the match, Becky hit a Bexploder, Bianca hit a move, Sasha came in and hit a backstabber, and Becky took them down with a big kick. This was pure chaos and not good chaos. Will they get along? It's kind of just got all tiresome now. This really wasn't very good at all. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Next up was Doudrop versus Natalya. Natalya slapped Doudrop right off the bat before she took a big slam, and Doudrop no-sold on the offense. Natty tried for a submission move, and we watched Shayna watching the match before Doudrop broke free, hit a splash, and rolled at Natalya to get the win, securing her spot in the semi-finals. And that was basically all it was. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It was a decent little showcase for Doudrop, and looking forward to that match next week. Before John Morrison was meditating backstage when Nikki and Rhea passed, and they thought it was a bit weird. Couldn't say why, to be honest. Mansoor was backstage, and Ali yelled at him for being a fanboy. Ali then threatened and called him a loser before working out, and then he attacked him for still not getting it. Looks like that tag team is officially done then. Before we got Drew McIntyre and Big E versus the Usos. Drew and Jimmy kicked off the match, and Drew and Big E hit them with a double team move before Jay got the tag and was being tossed around the ring. Big E tagged in and locked in a hold on Jay before Jimmy sneaks in a tag and things turn around. Jay was sent outside and Jimmy dodged a big splash. Back in the ring, Big E kicked out of a pin attempt and dodged a big move before hitting a belly-to-belly suplex and making the tag to Drew. Jay then took the Glasgow kiss but tagged Jimmy in, who came in for a near fall. Drew was about to finish the match, but Big E tagged himself and E went into a super kick, and Drew dragged E out of the ring before he could get the pin, and the brawl broke out between the two of them and the match was called off. The Usos then hit a massive dive and sent Drew and Big E into the barricades. And then, the brawl just continued. Big E and Drew faced off. Drew hit a Claymore. And it was basically the same. Doesn't even deserve my reaction. Overall, this week, 5 gets a 5 out of 10 from me, and that's being kind. I mean, you can only have the same old bloody stuff and as much as you want, once a show at the absolute most, not just the whole show of will they get along. It was just repetitive, boring, a really, really dreadful episode of Raw. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember your thoughts, comments down below. If anyone wants to link description below for daily wrestling news and subscribe to our channel on the screen right now, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!